unicorns.
Come on,
Take it
Billy.
off.
I'm your dad. I love unicorns. It's Father's
If
Day.
I had 2 horns, it would be different.
Oh.
Hey, you two! Welcome to the moon. I'm the sunflower of the moon. I reflect the sunlight to bring in anything alive.
Nice! Your mom's gonna kill you!
You are so the coolest.
Freeze!
That's 1,500 pounds! That's 2 Buicks!
Portland Community Improv.
Portland Community Improv.
Welcome everybody to Tualatin Valley Community Television for another installment of Portland Community Improv. Tonight, on my left, we have Canufo helping us out this evening. Let's give them a hand. And now if we could bring out the Brody Players. Tonight we have Todd Greblow, Lisa DiDonato, Manny Hall, and Brad Fautier. I'm going to help narrate a story with the cast. And all I need from you is maybe a title to the story, maybe a title to a story that's never been written. Ooh. Could be something like The Black Cat.
Killer tomatoes.
Killer Tomatoes, I like it. Here we are. Killer Tomatoes. It was Thursday. John Jones was working outside in his farm. It seemed like a normal average day to John, but then the clouds started to come together and grow dark.
That's strange. The forecast called for sunny all day long.
He was right. The forecast did call for sun all day long. But there was something wrong as he dug deeper into the soil.
Oh my goodness! There's something alive in here! Tomato! Tomato! Tomato!
Unbeknownst to him, the night before, something fell to earth and landed in his garden, changing the chemical balance of his tomatoes, giving them sentient minds and speech patterns.
My goodness! Something must have fallen to earth in the middle of the night and changed the chemical composition of my tomatoes and gave them sentient qualities.
That's precisely what happened. As a tomato, I can tell you this soil has been altered. Altered just the right way. It's given me a will that I've never had before. What do you think, Roma? Oh, Italians.
John sparked an idea. He saw dollar signs. He scooped up the tomatoes, put them in his basket, and brought them downtown to the talent agent.
Manny, I always told you I was gonna make it big. And this is my ticket to the big time.
I'm actually a physicist. I'd like to do some experimentation as a tomato.
All right, well, let's see what you got.
All right, well, if you take bromine and benzene and combine them and then put them in a centrifuge, you'll get some sort of polymer.
I'm hungry!
Why do I have to be stuck with Roma? Why?
I'm not so sure this is very marketable here, but I do like your brain.
Thanks. I'm a brain tomato.
After hours and hours of conversation and contract negotiations, they figured it out. It seems like the Killer Tomatoes were taking on the personality of an old school comic old couple. We take you now to opening night.
Hey there, everybody. How are you on the vine? This is me, and this is Roma. Roma, say something good.
Good! I'm hungry!
Anybody got some food for Roma? You there? How about you? What do you think, Roma? That guy look pretty good to you? Oh my God! Sorry about your scalp, buddy.
The Killer Tomatoes became famous. They were playing every major city in the continental U.S. Reno, Jersey, Spokane. They were raking in the dough. We now take you to a back office scene where the personalities of the farmer and the tomatoes grew a little peculiar.
Look, I hate to tell you two, but you're getting too big for your own skin.
Shut it, human. Where's my fertilizer?
Hey, I gave you guys your big break. I'm not gonna take this anymore.
We are your big break, flesh head.
Who are you kidding, Farmer John? You were nothing without us.
You tell him, Roma. You tell him.
By the way, I'm hungry.
Get her another co-ed. She likes those.
Fame had given the Killer Tomatoes a super huge ego. They figured they were going to take the show on the road by themselves and had to do something with Joe the farmer.
Look, I'm tired of giving you two co-eds and whatever the heck else you want. I'm out of this, but I'm taking you two with me.
You think so? That's something I've developed while we're on the road. Acidic seeds. We don't need the farmer, Roma. I've grown prehensile vines. I can drive. He's too wiry.
Not as good as the co-eds.
Not at all.
Let's go to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah!
Fort Lauderdale, land of beautiful women and oranges. Little did they know the Killer Tomatoes were on their way.
Look, it's an MTV beach party.
Break, here we are.
Looks like a good salad for us. Hey, show it off for MTV.
After a week of consuming people in bathing suits, little did the Killer Tomatoes know that someone was hot on their trail. This man was Detective Brian White.
Sunning myself in the Florida sunshine.
Hold it right there, Roma.
Hey,
Detective Brian White. Been hot on your trail since Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, now certainly, Detective, I'm sure there's something I can do for you to help get this situation figured out, huh?
Yeah. You come back with me to your point of origin, and we figure this mystery out. You and your little compadre there, both of you are doing time.
Little did Brian White know that he would soon fall in love with a tomato.
So yeah, sure, I would love to go back to our point of origin, because, you know, frankly, I'm getting tired of these co-eds. These co-eds aren't nearly as interesting as you are, Detective White. How do you get a name like White?
My parents were a blank slate.
You're so fascinating.
Well, you know, Roma, I'd be willing to kind of let this all go if you just come back with me and maybe we'll have dinner. A lasagna?
Oh! I try to stay away from tomato dishes.
Oh, understandable.
Alfredo.
Cream sauce.
Very good.
The mere fact that he mentioned that he would ever consume a tomato terribly annoyed her. And he would be the next victim.
Oh yeah, actually the
Right.
Alfredo's a little bland. I need a little yeah!
God, I'm sick of this planet.
Will the tomatoes keep on going, wreaking havoc? Will they survive? Or will justice meet the killer tomatoes? Stay tuned. At some point that has to find its way into a scene. Any kind of object, basketball, chainsaw, whistle. Chainsaw! All right. Some point a chainsaw, and this is Do Tell.
Here it is, folks. The largest sycamore in the Northwest. She's got to come down.
I've traveled all the way from Albuquerque, New Mexico to see this tree, the biggest sequoia in the United States. And I'm dying to think that they're going to cut this thing down. And they don't know this, but I'm going to do everything I can to prevent that from happening. God, it's such a beautiful tree, though, you know?
Yeah, it would look beautiful as my back deck, don't you think?
Yeah.
You're really harsh, Dad.
My daughter didn't understand me. She liked butterflies and unicorns and things like that. She didn't realize that butterflies and unicorns don't put a roof over your head, don't put you through college, don't get you a good job. It's cold hard cash.
You gotta step away from the tree, sweetheart. We gotta do what we gotta do. I've been on the hunt for this here tree for the last 15 years. It was a long walk, but I made it. I'm talking about changing shoes every 200 miles. I'm talking about rest stops that you don't even want to hear about. Oh yes, the kind of place where you just don't want to be in when the sun goes down. But I'm here now, Sequoia.
Sure, mister, I mean,
Sequoia.
Sure, mister, I mean, I bet you've lived around here forever. This tree is nothing special to you, but there's lots of people all over this country who've never seen a tree like this before. How can you think about cutting it down?
Oh, they have a chance to see it all right. Once they come to your backyard.
I can't allow you to do that! Listen! I'm only 17 years old and you guys are old and heartless, and I know that you've lost your ability to remember what it's like to really care about something, Dad, but this tree is what I really care about, and so I brought these chains and I'm just gonna chain myself to this tree. If you're gonna
buddy. It's obvious my daughter really cares about this tree. So I'll tell you what. I'm gonna buy this tree, because I've got lots of money in the bank. I'll give you $1 million for this tree so generations untold can come here and enjoy its beauty. So they can stare up at the top at the highest needle and say, look, there was something that's alive. There was something that people care about. Something more than today. Something for tomorrow.
Check's okay.
Act harder. All right, so what we need for this scene is an occupation.
Dentist.
A dentist. Thank you. And if I could have Todd and Brad.
Well, Frank, you're back again, I see.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for this operation. It's been 8 months since my last visit. I've so wanted to be here. It's incredible. I've so wanted to be here. It's incredible.
Well, open up and say, you know the drill.
Ah!
Come on, let me see those teeth. Come on, come on. Come on. Let me see those molars. Let me see those incisors. Let me see those other teeth.
That was really good. Thank you. Thank you.
Clunk.
Don't put that back in my mouth.
I'm not going to because your mouth is perfect.
Act harder.
You have the most beautiful mouth I've ever seen.
Gosh, really? I've worked on it for weeks and weeks. I've worked on it since I was born. I took a toothbrush in my swaddled hand and stroked my gums until those teeth took root.
And it's paid off, my friend. Your teeth are as white as the blazing sun. They shine like a million stars. They shine like the moon and all the planets put together. Why, I can barely look at your face right now. It's so bright.
Well, then I'll try and keep you shielded from it with my special mouth visor. I'll try and shield you from it like I shield the world from it. One time I smiled at a bus and it burnt to a cinder. And I hated everyone on the bus. There was no remorse in me. As I smiled at the bus, it was a smile of evil.
And that's why I have to stick this back in your mouth and pull out all those beautiful teeth. Because you're a madman. You're a sicko. You're a menace to society.
If you stick that back in my mouth, you're a horrible dentist.
All right. Next, if I could get the whole cast up here with their chairs, we're going to do a game called Experts. They're all going to have an expertise, and they're going to develop characters based on magazine titles that you give them. So for Todd, if Todd could have a magazine that you know exists, maybe one of your favorite magazines that he could base his expertise on.
Runner's World.
Runner's World. How about a magazine for Lisa?
Quick cooking.
Quick Cooking. How about Brad? And one more for Manuel.
Guns and ammo.
And one more for Manuel.
Guns and ammo.
Guns and ammo. Well, all right. Welcome, folks, to another episode of Top Issues. I'm your host, Bill Stanton. Tonight we have a great panel of experts for you this evening, and this is the part of the show where we bring it out to you, the audience, to ask questions of importance that are on your mind. So, does anyone have a question for this panel of experts? You, sir.
What's the meaning of life?
The meaning of life. A very, very good question asked every day by young men your age.
Well, I'm David Davidson, and I think the meaning of life is improving your interval time. I think that if you can run a mile in 5 minutes, that's good. But if you can run it in 4.5, that's better. And if you can get it under 4, you've reached nirvana.
Well, Shirley Johnson here. You know, Dave and I actually have a lot in common because life is so short. I mean, who really has a lot of time to be hemming and hawing about all sorts of things? I think that the meaning of life is to find it quickly, make it fresh, make it tasty, and just get on with it.
Well, I'm Ricky Spitz, and my personal belief in the meaning of life is really it's the pursuit of things. You have to go after things, you know, things that are in front of you, sometimes bouncing, sometimes running. It's really important that you grab onto anything, you know, especially fungi or blinking stars, anything that you come across that you can find that's in your way. You wouldn't believe what it adds to your life. I mean, it adds time, it adds power. Sometimes after some of those things, you can just run a mile. So that's what I think. You got to go after things. You can't just sit there idly or let the clock tick off.
Well put, well put.
Jeez.
I'm David Davis. The whole point of life is to hit your target.
There you go.
Period.
Well, I hope their pearls of wisdom bring some enlightenment to your question. Any other questions out there in the studio audience for our panel of experts?
What's the best month of the year?
That's a very good question. What, in your opinion, is the best month of the
well,
year
February.
and why?
February is the best month of the year. It's quickest, it's cool, it's fresh, it's cold, it's 28 days long, and then it's done and you're on to March.
Any of the other experts have?
I prefer August myself. It's a great time to train. It's you've got great weather. It's a great time to do those hills because the snow is melted and you can get out of the heat of the valley. And also training at altitude is also best in August.
Well, sorry to race ahead of you. That's just what I do. But it's really important, I think, in December. December is probably one of the best months because, you know, you get all these new titles coming out and, you know, everybody's really willing to give you anything that you want, you know. It's really incredible time of year, and I think that's why it's the best, you know, because sometimes you get a new controller. Sometimes you get just the thing you want, and then you can just sit down and enjoy yourself for, like, weeks.
I'd have to say any month in hunting season is a good month to be alive, depending on who you are.
Well, a lot of different months for a lot of different reasons. I hope they've helped you out. Any other questions out there? Could be...
Who's going to be the next president?
Who is going to be the next president, and why?
Well, I think the next president is going to be the one who runs the best race. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, you've got to start strong, and you've got to keep pumping. You got to keep pumping all the way through the primaries, all the way through the general election, and all the way to inauguration.
Wow.
Well, I can tell you who's not going to be the president. I think Mrs. Clinton, as we know, who's not too handy with baking cookies, not too handy in the kitchen, I don't think she'd make a very good president. You know, after I heard her say that comment, I just stopped paying attention to the whole thing. Frankly, it's a little too complicated, and I've just got my head in the fridge all the time anyway, so.
But the question was, who is going to be the president?
Oh, well, gosh. Romney.
Romney. Well, I personally think it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough race between, you know, the red jumpsuit Mario and Donkey Kong. Because Donkey Kong, he's a tough customer. Let's face it, he's a big ape. And he throws barrels at you. Well, he'll throw whatever he can throw at you, quite honestly.
Excuse me, I don't think he's running.
Well, you know what? He should be. And that's what I'm talking about. Donkey Kong should be running against I mean, let's face it, the presidential races aren't really that serious anyways lately. Come on. We may as well have Donkey Kong. So that's my vote, Donkey Kong and Mario. I win. The American people are saved. Sorry.
I'm thinking it's going to be Charlton Heston.
Now
Enough
I
said.
vote for him.
There you have it, folks. How about one more question for these panelists to answer for you? Yes.
Why does my cat keep scratching at the front door? Why does her cat keep scratching at the front door? Please, somebody.
Because there's a quick meal outside. I bet you it's loaded with sparrows and little grasshoppers. I know my cats just, first thing in the morning, they're running out there because they can get a little snack. 2 seconds. Snack, snack, snack.
Well, I think it's because your cat lacks discipline. You need to get that cat up earlier. Get it out on the road. Give it some road work. Give it some training. Let it chase balls around the floor. You need to just make it run like it was meant to. Wear that thing out, and it'll go to sleep quietly.
If you want, lady, I can take care of it for you.
I mean, my guess would just be it's looking for a hidden power-up. I mean, that's what I would think. It's got to be in there, you know? One of the little bouncing cherries or mushroom. You know?
Well, you heard it here, folks, and that's Panel of Experts. Thank you very much. Well, folks, we are out of time for tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in to Tualatin Valley Community Television. This was Portland Community Improv. And a round of applause. And a round of applause for Canoeful. I'm your improv yeoman, Bo Brousseau. Thank you. Good night.